And we are back. Welcome to the 2018 ASANA Softball World Series. We are in the C Division bracket here. We're in the winner's bracket. We've got Aberration from San Diego against Orlando's Rockstar Day Drinkers. That's a combo team of two different teams in Orlando, going up against one of the most storied teams in the history of San Diego women's softball, Aberration, which has, I believe, a record 10 consecutive division championships in the city itself. And here they are taking the field in their, 10th consecutive World Series. We are here at the start of the game. This first pitch, Aberration is home. The Rockstar Day Drinkers are the visitors, and here's the first pitch of the game. And that is called a ball. So the count goes 2 balls, 1 strike. It is hot out there, folks. We're in New Orleans, Louisiana, and the temperature's gotta be in the upper 80s, and the humidity is high as an elephant's eye. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. There's a little flare out to left center field, and AZ is on board with a leadoff single here to start the game. In the booth with me is Dr. Joel Trambley, who is going to be helping me fill in the color for this game. Joel, it is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Roman. It's great to be here.
Miller steps into the box now, the lefty. It's a ground ball right past the first baseman. Right fielder comes up with it, gets that ball in with a little bit of an errant throw. AZ is going to get to second and then go 3, and Miller is going to get to second on the throw. So with the lefty hitting and pulling the ball, AZ at first was able to kind of block the first baseman's view of that ball, and by the time AZ got out of the way, the ball was there, and the first baseman never really had a chance at that.
You never really have a chance when you get screened like that, and it's not really interference. The runner's entitled to that base path, so it's just something you have to try to work through.
A veteran move by AZ to do that. I mean, just a heads-up, outstanding bit of base running there, and it resulted in her getting to third and the batter getting to second. There's a fly ball, shallow left center field. That ball is going to score AZ. Miller is going to get to third and hold there. So that was Nicole who got to first there on the little flare out, the little duck snort out to left center. And that'll bring up Bayet. So 1 run is in. Takes a ball there, so 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Goes after that one, fouls it off. Almost right to our camera. You might have had a really good view of that one. And the count goes 2-2. And that's a called strike 3, caught looking.
Wow. You don't see that too often, actually, even with these 1-1 counts starting out.
That's some good pitching there with runners at the corners. Now a ground ball will get you out of it with just 1 run in. We'll see if Whitney doesn't have other plans. Here's the pitch. That is just a bit outside. You can see wiping her brow there. Sorry, that is Bayet. So we might have our batting order mixed up here. Number 2 is Bayet. She's up at the plate right now. Here's the pitch. And there's a little flare out to left center field. That ball is caught. But it was enough for Miller to score.
Well positioned out there, though. She was shallow, and the ball was able to get the ball. If she were playing deeper, she wouldn't have made that catch.
Nicole will hold. So Bayet gets credit for the sack. Just so you know, back at home, we actually get these lineups about 30 seconds before the game starts. So if something gets transposed, it's usually in the heat of the hurry. So we might have might have incorrectly gave Bay the credit for striking out there. We think that might have been Whitney. And there is a foul, so strike 2 there. Oh, just off the glove of the shortstop. Here comes the throw in. Backed up by the first baseman there. So runners at first and second and 2 out here. 2 runs already in. There's a fly ball, can of corn to left field, and Steph gets the 3rd out.
It looked like for those fly balls, the outfield was right where they needed to be. They looked a little shallow starting, but the wind is blowing from left to right, so it may knock down a few balls and let them play that way. We have seen some balls get towards the short fence and right, though.
Today's games are brought to you by Legends Sports Equipment, your place to find all your Wilson, Louisville Slugger, and DeMarini clothing and equipment. From bats to cleats, gloves, and uniforms, Legends Sports has you covered from head to toe. Check out the merch on their Facebook page at facebook.com/legends-sports-equipment. That's Legends with a Z. And that'll bring up Aberration. Aberration will come up. Batter number 2. That's her number 2. Will step into the batter's box.
If you're looking out on the field today, you might see some pink ribbons. That is because today is ASANA's Breast Cancer Awareness Day. You'll also see that the umpires mostly are wearing pink.
As they come up to the plate here, Aberration won the 2006 gold medal at the Gay Games in Chicago and have been going strong really ever since.
And you mentioned there were lineage. This is the Rockstar Day Drinkers' first World Series appearance.
So we've got a contrast in experience here as a ground ball gets to the shortstop, up with it, fires over to first. The throw was in time, but the ball did not stay in the glove of the first baseman, who did everything she could to block that ball as it was just down in the dirt. And number 2 with hustle.
Yeah, getting down that line. And
getting down that line in a hurry.
That ball could have gone past and gotten to second or third. So that was a good play by the first baseman.
To just block that ball. That'll bring up number 8. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball. The right center fielder is calling for it, makes the basket catch, and the throw comes back to first to try to double her off. There's a gun out there in right center. You have been warned.
You don't see that every day in your local leagues, but this is the World Series. They're going to go for every out they can.
And when you've got the skill of the player that you're throwing it to have enough faith in them to be able to stop it and to be prepared for it, you can take those risks. Number 18 comes up, runner at first. Aberration trailing here. Here's the pitch. That ball is going to be fouled back. Right back to the screen, and we have 1 ball and 2 strikes. So if you're just catching this game, each batter will enter the box with a 1-1 count. So because that was the first pitch, even though it was a strike, it is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's a ground ball, and we have a strikeout because it was foul. And when you have 2 strikes, you have no foul to give.
And that's the tough part on the hitter, that 1-1 count. If you get a strike on you, you're going to have to put it in play and a little bit to the right or left, and you're out.
Today's first strikeout is brought to you by 100% Bulletproof. If you've ever been the victim of bullying, whether it was by family, at school, or at work, find out how you can transform your thoughts and actions to strike out your bullied spirit. Find out more about their boot camps and team building workshops at 100%bully-proof.com. That's 100%bully-proof.com. So number 22 comes up, fouls one off. We have 2 balls and 2 strikes now. 2 outs, runner at first for Aberration. Folks, it's hot out there. That is a turf infield. So even the brown spots that you see there that look kind of like the dirt cutouts, that is also turf. It's just brown turf. So the whole infield is turf, which means you're going to get really true bounces, really excellent playing surface, and about 10 degrees warmer than what you would experience with grass.
That's the tough part. It rained earlier, so it was probably cool for part of the day, but it's got to be getting hot on that turf right now.
And muggy in the outfield because it did rain, and now that with the humidity. Oh, and we have a strikeout there. Number 22 swings and misses, trying to place that ball a little bit, kind of took her eye off of it, and we have 2 back-to-back strikeouts, one as a foul and one a legitimate swinging strikeout. Don't see that every day.
No, you don't. Usually a little contact, but as you said, when you're focusing too hard on trying to put it where you want, sometimes you take your eye off of it.
So that'll bring up the last half of the order for Rockstar Day Drinkers from Orlando as we head into the top of the second inning with a score of Rockstar Day Drinkers 2 and Aberration 0.
A lot of the Day Drinkers are actually former collegiate players who've gotten together in the Central Florida Softball League in Orlando.
Team formed earlier this year.
In January, so this is their first World Series appearance, as we mentioned, because they just got put together.
Looks like just in time for the Sin City Classic, it seems like.
Ah, yes.
January 14th is their form date, so that seems familiar. I remember being in Vegas around that time.
That's a strong possibility.
Ground ball to second base. For the first out, this play goes 4-3. So that was Megan who grounded out for the first out.
That's that same pitch, high over the outside corner. It's a nice pitch.
So that's Weewa, who strikes out. So anything you can do, I can do at least half as well as we get the strikeout there. Again swinging.
Again swinging. It's hard to tell from up here exactly, but it looks like this umpire is given a fair amount of arc.
Well, and also that sun. If you look at where the batters are facing in the box, that sun is right in their eyeball as this ground ball to short results in an out as the play goes 6-3 from a strong play. That was just a mugging in that inning. A strikeout.
That was fast. The sun's up in our eyes here in the booth as well, so it's got to be hard for swinging down there, and sometimes even sunglasses can't help you with that when it's that bright.
So Aberration will take the field now. Number 6 comes up.
We mentioned the arc on the umpire. The ball to be a strike is supposed to be within 6 feet, at least be 6 feet high and not higher than 12 feet. And you'll see sometimes the umpire will put their arm out if it's an illegal pitch outside those bounds.
Here's the first pitch. There's a little duck snort out to left field. Texas Leaguer looks like it's gonna drop in. The left fielder did a full out extension dive, trying to get that ball, slid in a little bit, but unable to make that out. Good effort there by the left fielder. That is what you would consider a championship effort for sure.
And you might have seen that splash out there too, Roman. That tells you it did rain earlier and it's still wet out there, but most of the players have been able to keep from slipping.
Rained just long enough for our Chief Technical Officer, Mitch, to nearly have a seizure as our equipment got pretty well soaked. And there is another strikeout. We've got a pitcher's duel here.
I do not know when I have seen so many strikeouts so quickly in softball.
We're already at 4, 3 for this pitcher. 3 Aberration players have gone down, 2 on swinging strikeouts and 1 looking. It's only the second inning here. There's strike, swing and a miss. That's strike number 2. So here's the thing. That sun is right in their eyeball. So if you are a good pitcher, you can match the arc with where the sun is, and sure enough, that's what's happening because the sun is at about arc level. So if you're able to float that ball about 12 or 13 feet and the umpire is going to give it to you, as the batter, you're looking straight into that sun and you're losing the ball. Just like an outfielder in the outfield trying to catch a ball coming in, you're going to lose the ball in the sun, and unlike an outfielder, a batter's not going to be able to put their glove up in the air to block it out.
No, and this is a place where being an experienced pitcher can pay real dividends for your team because not everybody would know how to exploit this, but it looks like these pitchers do.
They are on their game here. Here's the pitch. Gets a hold of that one. Shallow. First baseman's calling for it. She's got it, and that is out number 3 on the pop-up to the third baseman. That gets recorded F3, and that will do it for the second half of the inning. Rockstar Day Drinkers will come back again to kick off the third inning.
And this game with those strikeouts is just zipping along.
We had mentioned Las Vegas earlier. This half-inning break is brought to you by the 2019 Sin City Classic. 19 sports, thousands of athletes in one heck of a good time. The 12th annual Sin City Classic will kick off January 17th, 2019. Registration will open soon. Come for the game, stay for the party. Find out more at sincity.classic.org.
That's always a great tournament. I know we've both been there, Roman, and it's always a lot of fun.
I might have a few times.
And it's huge. It is one of the or the, depending on what year you're talking, I think, biggest gatherings of LGBT athletes.
Speaking of athletes, the softball portion of this weekend is not the only event going on. Tomorrow starts the flag football tournament, which is in honor of the Lynn Lewis Foundation, which is what you see all the pink ribbons around for. Lynn Lewis was an athlete who played in many sports. Here's a ground ball up the shortstop, fires over to first, and does just get the out. A great play by the first baseman to stretch there to get that.
And good range by the shortstop to get over there up the middle.
So Lynn Lewis was an athlete whose motto was never give up. And she never did. Ultimately succumbing to the disease last year, the foundation changed its name to Never Gave Up. There's a line drive, right center field. Again, a splash of water. I don't know if you can pick that up, but that's the leadoff batter, AZ.
Wet balls coming in from the outfield don't seem to be bothering the pitchers much, though. And I don't even see them really taking time extra to wipe them off.
No. There's a called strike. A little easier for the lefties with the sun right there because they almost have to go out of their way to look into it, to look into the sun, because it's just on the right-hand side of the outfield. Here's the 2-2. Lefty goes after that one right into the glove of the first baseman. What a great play. So we've got 2 outs now.
Good base running, too. I might have strayed even a little further and gotten caught off thinking that one was going to make it past her.
Oh, it was hit so hard. On a line, the first baseman had to leave her feet to get that. That'll bring up Nicole, who pops that one up. The pitcher's calling for it, thinks she has it, and she does, and that is all 3 outs. So no runs come across, and the heart of the order coming up next. Whitney, Bayett, and Steph But for now, we will flip the card over for Aberration.
So how long do you think till the sun moves far enough into a cloud or down that the hitters will have a better swing?
Well, there's a cloud threatening. It's kind of just, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from it, but the wind seems to be blowing it away, and there are some cumulus clouds to the north of us, northwest of us, so it could be that those come over with the direction that the wind is blowing. But I'm not sure that they're going to get any reprieve.
Going to be a hard play at the plate for the catcher, especially if it's coming from right field as well.
So Aberration steps into the box. That's number 12. Here's the pitch. Pops that one up. And an almost excellent play by the catcher, who really had to come out of her way. But for naught, even though the full extension dive, I honestly thought that ball was going to curve back and be a foul ball.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great dive and a great try if you can get it, but I think that one, if it had bounced, might have gone foul for them. But you never know, and sometimes it stops dead, and the same thing would happen with a runner on first. So
there's so much spin on that, it's hard to predict how it could very well have moved forward. Here's the pitch, and that is a strike, so you can see the batter battling the sun there. So we've got 1 ball and 2 strikes and a runner on with nobody out. Here's the pitch. Goes after it. Here's a ground ball to shortstop. Could be 2. Gets it over to second, but that's it for the out on the clean slide by number 12. She is forced out as the play goes 6-4.
It's interesting, in ASANA here with the women playing, you see a lot of these hard underhand throws that you don't see in a lot of the men's leagues. They're usually going to go overhand, but I think a lot of these women have pitched at some point, and that's a fast throw for them.
Well, and they're smarter, because you don't have to throw overhand when you're just trying to get the out at second. There's a ground ball hard up the middle past the extended glove of the shortstop. And number 25 is gonna make it to second base as the throw gets away, but she's not running anywhere. And number 15 gets the first. That brings up number 4 with runners at first and second and only 1 out. And folks, that sun is brutal. It is easy if you are playing in the infield because the sun is over your head and to your back. So no outfielders are gonna struggle with it. The catcher may, as the infield, struggle with it a little bit. We probably saw that in a couple of at-bats ago. But for the batters, it is brutal. Umpire called that one deep, so 2 balls and 1 strike. Aberration trying to get into the run column. And there we go. It sends a single up the middle. 25 is going to advance to third. Safe on the throw at second. 15 gets there, and number 4 is safe at first.
And that was a surprisingly close play at second, but it's pretty clear that they're going to be gunning for you at second. You're going to have to hustle from first. You're going to get caught.
That brings up number 2, the leadoff batter. And I'll explain why I'm using the numbers here in a second. There's a ground ball in the 5.5 hole. 15 will score. 25 will score. They're going to hold 15 at third. An excellent play by the left center fielder to make that play at second close, but it was not in time. And number 8 will come up with 1 run in and bases loaded and only 1 out. Speaking of clouds, we have a brief second of reprieve from that sun as a cloud has come to the rescue for Aberration. And our rescue. Sends a fly ball out to shallow right center field. She's up with it and gets it. Throws into home. No advance.
Impressive arms keeping that runner at third.
And that'll leave it up to number 18 to bring in a run. 1 run in already, so it's 2-1. Rockstar Day Drinkers has the lead here, but Aberration threatening with 2 outs and the bases loaded. So with 2 outs and the bases loaded, you are running on contact. There's no judgment there. You were just taken off, and the sun peeks out from behind the cloud, and we'll see what that does. Fly ball, right field, shallow, and a catch is made. So Aberration able to put 3 on the bases, get 1 of them in, but leave the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 3rd. So the score remains 2-1. Rockstar Day Drinkers from Orlando as they come up to try to expand the lead. So I promised I would explain why I'm using just numbers for Aberration, and here is why. With the team with their pedigree, they have decided that for these broadcasts, they will just play as a unit. They have chosen not to have their names broadcast, not because they're afraid of anything, just because they want to have their jersey on the front speak for them. So they have asked us if we would just use their numbers. So in case you're wondering why we're not calling people's names out, that is why. We received no such request, however, from the Day Drinkers, as Tracy Dottie gets herself a single to left field.
And if you're wondering at the end of that last inning how a shallow ball looked like it might be going towards the fence, the field is different in left and right. That pole in left is 270, but in right it's only 215. So we've seen some hits come off that fence.
That brings up number 2, Bayett. And there's a big fly ball to left field, but the left fielder's tracking it. Underneath it, the runner is going to advance from first. The throw is close, but in time is Dottie as she makes it on the tag up, as that play gets recorded as F8. So that will bring up Whitney Dunlap. Here's the pitch. There's another one, and that one's fouled back. And we have yet another strikeout. So that's 2 outs now.
Runner in scoring position, although with the short field and some of the arms we're seeing today, there's a lot of people getting held at third on those singles.
And there's a line drive to left center field. The ball gets away from her, and Doty will score on the RBI. So we're going to use the pinch runner here. So that was Coons, who got that RBI. And here comes Megan.
Now we've got a little line of clouds coming over the sun, on again, off again. Right now, on again.
Coons singles to center. That brings up Ritter. And Ritter hits a single to left field. Here comes the runner rounding third. She's headed for home. Here comes the throw, gets away. And that throw gets away from the pitcher to the third baseman, which will allow Ritter to get up to second. The runner.
So we often call them pinch runners, but in the ASANA World Series, it's called a courtesy runner, and you're allowed one an inning, but only one an inning. So you have to use it wisely for either a situation or a runner where you really think it would be better to have somebody faster.
Runners at second and third here. So that's Kay at the plate. Sends a pop up to the shortstop. She's got it for out number 3. 2 runs scored, however. To make it 4-1. Rockstar Daydrinkers over Aberration. That'll bring up number 22, 6-1 for Aberration to try to cut into this lead. So we have a little more cloud reprieve here. We'll see how long this lasts. As number 22 comes into the box, she went down swinging in her first at bat. Gets a hold of that one though, right back at the pitcher in the glove. And the throw goes from 1 to 3. That was ticketed for center field if that pitcher didn't stick out her glove just at the last second. And it was kind of, look what I found, as number 6 comes up to the plate. And no more cloud reprieve. That sun gets right back there. Called strike on the outside corner. Aberration trails here 4-1. There's a pop-up, hits the screen, strikeout, number 5, I think, so far. Correct, strikeout number 5 for this pitcher.
That's an impressive game. I mean, sun or no sun, 5 strikeouts at this point in the game is amazing.
25% of the record, 20 in Major League Baseball. Here's the pitch. There's a fly ball left field. Left fielder had that one easy. Quick 1-2-3 inning here for Aberration. And the Rockstar Daydrinkers will head back to the plate to see if they can do some more damage. The momentum seems to be in their favor for sure. And just a reminder, today's games are brought to you by Legends Sports Equipment, your place to find all your Wilson, Louisville Slugger, and DeMarini clothing and equipment. From bats to cleats, gloves, and uniforms, Legends Sports has you covered from head to toe. Check out the merch on their Facebook page at facebook.com/legends-sports-equipment. That's Legends with a Z.
You know, it's not uncommon for weather to affect a game, rain or sun, but it usually seems even. The way that the sun and clouds may or may not help you in an inning is kind of unusual here. But it looks like we're in for sun for a little while again now.
That's Meyer at the plate. It's a little can of corn out to left field.
And I think with the wind blowing from left to right, those flies to left are just going to get caught like that. It's going to be hard to get them over the left fielder's head at this point in the day. It's going to have to take a real rip.
That brings up AZ, the top of the order here. There's a line drive right back up the middle past the glove of the pitcher, and AZ is on board a third time.
And a good play to get that, even with a slide into the water. That ball could have made it up the middle for another base or two.
So we're in the top of the 5th inning. This game is moving right along. Seems like they're trying to do their part to help get this field back on schedule. As a ground ball to first, has a little trouble with it, but able to recover and get the out. Meanwhile, AZ gets to second base. So that's the 3rd time in a row we've seen that. AZ gets on and a hard shot hit to first.
Hard shot hit to first. And you may see on those plays, you'll notice the runner was going for the orange bag for safety, and the player was going to tag the white bag to get them out.
I'll bring up Nicole here with a runner in scoring position. And swings and fouls that one off. So that's 2 strikes. Got to be, as they say. Goes after that one. Soft little ground ball over to third base, who kicks it. Nobody's covering at third. Shortstop heads over there to keep that runner at second. That's AZ over there. So Nicole is safe at first. And they will bring in a runner for her, which you're allowed to do, as we've said, 1 per inning.
I think some of these batters are just happy to make contact with that sun in their eyes.
It is brutal. There's a hard hit ball past the glove of the third baseman. Here comes the throw from left field. It is in time, but got off by the pitcher. It was a little up the line, so the pitcher really didn't feel like there was much of a chance of an out being recorded, and too much of a chance that ball was going to get by. So Nicole, or the runner for her, gets to second.
And it's important to keep those
first.
It's important to keep those force outs in order. So that was a good play by the pitcher to cut that ball off instead of giving up some extra bases.
There's a foul ball. So that ends that. And we now have a score of 5-1. Rockstar Day Drinkers. As we head now, as strange as it is to say, the bottom of the 5th inning already.
This game is going so fast. You will rarely see a softball game moving along this quickly. Some of it's those strikeouts, and some of it's some good defense.
Amen to both. Looks like these 2 teams are trying to help the tournament get this field back on time, running about a little more than an hour behind. They're trying to make all of that happen right now. There's a single to left field by 2-1. Leading off the inning. It's one of my favorite all-time movies. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Bat 2-1. Gene Hackman, Danny Glover. Great flick if you haven't seen it. If you're a fan of golf, you'll love it. It's about the Vietnam War. Here's a fly ball to right field. That ball is caught for out number 1. Bat 2-1. Check it out. Good flick. And batter 21 is still at first base. That brings up number 12.
Looks like the swings are getting a little better this inning.
A little more confident as the sun has gotten a little lower. There's a flare out to left center field. That's going to get caught.
Good positioning out there.
Ball gets away a little bit, but the runner was kind of right in front of the runner, so nowhere they could go. For out number 2. We'll bring up number 25. Fielder's choice, her last at bat. Here's the pitch. And a called strike. So this team in their first ever World Series Rockstar Day Drinkers are having themselves a game. Here's a ground ball to third. She's up with it, looks to second, gets it over there in time to record the out. And they are holding this Aberration team to just 1 run, as no runs come in there on the play that went 5-4 on the fielder's choice. So Joel, we head to the top of the 6th.
Top of the 6th already. A little bit of a surprise. Usually veteran teams really do have a lot easier time than some of the first timers, although I think some of these folks on the Rockstar Day Drinkers have been playing a while. It may just be their first World Series together this way, but impressive showing.
Absolutely. Like we got a substitution coming in here, or a check of the time. I don't think time is an issue. They're going to run out of innings before they run out of time.
But as we've seen in other games today, you can come back in that last inning when it's just a few runs, and this is still a very competitive game.
Here's the second pitch. Fly ball out to left center field. She's on her horse running back. That ball's going to get all the way to the wall. Here she rounds first, heads to second. Here comes the throw into second. Not in time, but on line. Good play from the outfield. And number 15, Whitney Dunlap, gets in on a stand-up double to left field. Center field, straightaway center field.
And that could have been 3. That was a good play to get that in quickly.
Really good recovery. The ball, I think, helped out a lot because it hit the fence and kind of came back a little bit, shortening the distance for the outfielder to have to cover.